Once again, we're back at the round table, just talking about character and building character, man. We talked about a lot of stuff, huh? A lot of stuff, man. Like
Good stuff.
this is stuff that we don't make time for this in meeting rooms,
Man.
you know what I'm
Seriously,
saying?
this is so needed, man. Yeah. Mindfulness.
So today, we're going to be talking about humility,
Mm-hmm.
and actually for this one, I want to read the definition because what I did was I think I compiled a couple of them. But when you look at humility, it's a modest view of oneself, right? It's a modest view of one's own importance. It's humbleness, and it's this freedom from pride or arrogance. So it's just like pride or arrogance doesn't exist because we're humble, right? And that's lacking in sports. It's lacking in coaching, and so I just want you to share, man, what comes to your mind when you think, as an athlete, as a coach, like what comes to your mind? Any stories coming to your mind, man, about humility?
Definitely. I think about the times that I've been humbled, and those aren't, that's not a fun process. That's a process where you have to look at yourself, acknowledge that you made a mistake, and it's part of the reason why you're here, and you have to dig deep to get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So it's almost a form of adversity to some degree, being humbled,
Yeah.
And so where my experience kind of happened as a student athlete and more on the student side of things. This is a great story for those college athletes out there who are still trying, you still got a sport, but you got to maintain your grades at the same time. And if you have, you have goals academically, you gotta keep those top of mind, just like your football goals. And it wasn't top of mind for me. It was all football. Like you were saying, I was identifying with football. It was football. And so, but I also wanted to, I did want to have a good degree. Going to Brophy kind of had that instilled in my head. So I went the business route, right? And tried to double major, went the management marketing route. My first 2 years, my second semester is my first 2 years. And as in the off season in college, like, you have a lot more freedom than you do during the season.
Yep.
And so that freedom kicked my behind. And, I was just getting too trigger happy. I was dropping classes. I maybe failed one or two. And I picked it up. I picked it up. I made the dean's list after that. My GPA was starting to go higher and higher. I did have a moment where I was like, Josh, you need to kick it into gear, right? But that little lapse, I thought I was good after that. But it haunted me at the long run. I'm done with football, and now I have to take a fifth year to finish, right? I decided to be done with it. Took a fifth year to finish, and as I'm going to fill out my graduation information, they say that I don't have enough credits to fulfill my double major. And it all went back to the classes that I dropped and all these different things. So what I needed to do in order to get that double major, this was management for me, for my management courses. Basically, I'd failed and dropped too many management courses, and I would have had to take another year. I wasn't trying to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to make that tough decision, and they're only going to honor my scholarship for that year. So I had to make that tough decision, like either you're going to have to stay out here another year in Montana and pay for another year, or you got to just cut that management degree and just go marketing and just finish out this semester.
One degree.
One degree.
So here you are wanting to do a double major. You were just saying, I'm good. I'm going to drop this class. This don't matter. And now you're done with football and you're trying to finish up the business of school, no pun intended, the business of school to get that double major. But now they're sitting here telling you, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
You only got credits enough for one.
One major. Yep. Dagger. Right? And I'm telling all my family and my friends,
I'm a double major in
I'm
this
guy. Yeah. And so it was one heck of a humbling experience, and I did make the tough decision, just go ahead, and I just got my marketing degree, but it hurt, and from then on, I was like, you know what, I'm going to preach to, I've been on fire about this, anybody who goes to college, and anybody who goes to college, student athlete or not, just student, I tell them, hey, pick your major as quickly as you can. I hate how people say, take your time, just fill it out. You got time to figure it out. Drop classes if you need to. That's not my message. My message is to take your academics seriously. When you get there, figure out what you want to do, stick with it, and do it to the best of your ability. Because The more you drop classes, the more you think you have time in the long run, you're not going to have time.
Yeah.
It's going to bite you in the butt. And if you don't have the cash for it, the money for that, it's not going to pay dividends the way that you think.
Yeah.
So, especially with those student athletes, man, take your academics just as serious, because football will go away, and you can't lean on football.
Yeah.
You'll have to lean on that degree.
Yeah, and you got to make that degree work for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. You and I are reading from the same script almost, because my humility story was almost the same. I had transferred from Arizona State to NAU. I had exactly 1 year to get all my stuff in. They're like, oh yeah, everything transferred over. You know, you can graduate in the winter. I was like, in the winter? That's weird. So I started in January and I finished in December. And I literally needed every credit. And one of the classes that I had was Spanish. I was a clown in Spanish class. Spanish class, ever since I was a kid, was my platform for comedy, because it came so easy for me. Estaba muy fácil, ¿me entiendes? You know what I'm saying? I was a clown in Spanish class, dog. You ask any of my teammates, any of my friends in Spanish class, that's when the homie came to play.
I can only
you know
imagine.
what I'm saying? Eso nunca sería. You know what I mean? So I remember I get there, I'm taking that same attitude, you know what I'm saying, to college, to my college class, bruh. And so I'm sitting there with me and my teammates, my boys in the back, we sitting there clowning every day, you know what I'm saying? Midterms come around, your boy's getting a D.
Yeah.
I needed every credit,
Right.
every class
Couldn't
to
afford it.
graduate. So I'm sitting here like, señora, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué onda con eso, pues? Yo tengo un D, ¿qué onda, loco? ¿Qué onda, loca? And she goes, and I remember, I never forget it, man. She looked me in my eyes. She goes, every day you come to my class and you screw around with your little friends in the back. She said, from now on, you're going to sit in the front. You understand? I was like, oh, yeah.
See.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, see.
Yeah.
And I remember I sat in the front, bro. I had to humble myself. I got humbled.
Yeah.
Because she was going to be more than happy to give your boy a D.
Yeah.
More than happy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, final.
Boom. Yep.
She was on circle
I'll
that
show
joint
him.
three times. You know what I mean? Hey, what grade I get? Oh, damn. She circled that joint 3 times. Like,
With the circle.
Yeah. D. Here. You know? And I remember that was so humbling, man.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, number one, I got called out.
Yeah.
Number two, I was failing. I wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. And number three, she made me sit in the front. I hate sitting in the front of the class.
Yeah.
I hate it, dude.
Yep.
I hate people sitting behind me.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about humility? I remember I ended up getting a B in that class,
Oh, great.
and she looked at me at the end of class. She goes, I was getting ready to graduate. She said, "You have a gift." She said, "Don't mess up the gift. Keep speaking Spanish. Stop screwing around. Take it very seriously." Not knowing that one day I would be working in professional baseball players and speaking Spanish every single day to players and coaches.
Wow.
I had no idea.
That's crazy.
And I'm sitting away, pissing away the gift, screwing around in class.
Wow.
I'm telling you, dude.
Wow.
So humility,
Wow.
free from arrogance, right? And pride, to think lower of oneself. You and I were at those moments before we got humbled. We were the opposite.
Yep.
We were thinking that our stuff don't stink.
Yep.
Whatever. You know,
This stuff
whatever.
was never going to catch up with me.
Yeah, it's never going to catch up. Like, well, we can do it.
Yeah.
We were full of pride, full of arrogance, full of a view of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we had, double major, all this and this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to transfer, and I'm going to make this easy. Please.
Please. Yep.
But the Bible says that God resists the proud. He Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
God's giving you the Heisman, dog.
Straight up.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
the first thing that came
you
to
know
my
what I'm
mind.
saying?
He's stiff arming us.
He's stiff arming us. He resists the proud.
Yeah.
But you said it earlier, he gives grace to the humble.
Yeah.
Powerful, man. Powerful.